This is, in fact, probably the most cluttered slide of all, but the point of the slide was to share with you that we at Qualcomm have a comprehensive 3G chipset roadmap. The column on the left talks about the various categories. Modems and data cards, we talked about that. Feature and basic phones, we talked about that. Smartphones, and of course, smart books. In production, the column on the right to that shows you the chipsets that are already out there. They're in the market, they're in production, there are devices being built using these chips. On the right are the chipsets that will follow. The ones which have annotated with a little red S denotes Snapdragon. All of those chips will support Snapdragon, the top right category in particular. This is a 1 gigahertz plus chip with a dual processor core and also supports connectivity as well as computing on the same silicon. The range of chipsets that we have, of course, accessible to all OEMs and ODMs. But now, and you're going to hear about this a lot more later in the day, we are embarking on a new initiative. The new initiative is the Qualcomm Reference Design Initiative. The Qualcomm Reference Design Initiative essentially allows design houses and OEMs to get to market much faster at a much lower NRE or cost. And the portfolio of devices, or portfolio of reference designs that we will have out there on day one will include multiple operating systems, Android, Windows Mobile, BRUMP. In addition to what you might expect from a reference design, schematics, PCB layout, component vendor lists, and of course our AMSS software, we also will have UI customization and tools associated with that, pre-verified and pre-tested third-party apps that will be pre-integrated. This, along with the certification, we believe will create a very compelling solution that would be of interest to Indian local brands, to carriers, to Tier 1, Tier 2 OEMs as well, and of course the ecosystem around them, application developers and so on. So we believe that this design initiative, Qualcomm Reference Design, will create a new breed of solutions that would be appropriate for the Indian market. I want to just spend a minute and talk about other device form factors. I actually have one here in my pocket, and this is in fact a router, a DO-Rev Wi-Fi router, which allows you to connect to DO-Rev on one end and Wi-Fi on the other. This essentially will allow me to become a hotspot. So laptops, any other devices on Wi-Fi can connect through DO-Rev through this device. In addition to these kinds of devices, which are very novel and innovative, this one is from Epicom. We're going to see a lot of other form factors. Kanwalinder talked about tablets and smart books. We're already seeing these devices launch in many of the markets abroad. We believe with the 3G operators launching, we're going to see a whole host of these devices. Many of these devices are built on our Snapdragon platform, and a couple have already entered the Indian market. Finally, moving on from 3G, both flavors of 3G, VDO and HSPA, wanted to spend a couple of minutes talking about LTE. The vision that Kanwalinder alluded to in his opening remarks, 3G now, 3G plus LTE in the future. LTE, we believe, is the technology that will allow 3G operators, 3G devices, and consumers to seamlessly move up in speeds from 2G, 3G, and onward. We believe that LTE is the right technology for future-proofing 3G networks. As the consumption of mobile data will grow, we're going to need higher and higher speeds. With a 20 megahertz chunk of bandwidth, which has been auctioned in India now, we believe that this will provide an option for congested 3G networks to offload their traffic, as well as provide an overlay in dense urban areas where the demand for data could exceed what networks may be able to provide. The chart here notes rural, suburban, and urban setting, in a wedding cake format, you have 2G layered on top, you've got 3G, and right on top you have LTE. When I talk about future-proofing, what I mean to say is that the solutions that we're going to see from 3G solutions providers, both on the infrastructure side as well as on the device side, will essentially allow the investments that have been made on the 3G ecosystem to be leveraged for LTE as well. All major 3G vendors are committed to the 3G plus LTE path. The 3G ecosystem will expand to include LTE. It may be important to note that LTE is also standardized by 3GPP, the same body that standardized UMTS. TD-LTE in particular, we believe, is the global solution for unpaired spectrum. The chip that I've shown here in gray shows our chipsets that we are launching. They've already sampled in the lab and they will be commercially launching shortly. And they support both FDD and TDD. 65 plus operators have launched LTE in 30 plus, or are launching LTE in 30 plus countries. All our chips support 3G. They also support both flavors of LTE, FDD and TDD. What that means is that the ecosystem, from our perspective, that's going to grow for LTE will be leveraged across TD-LTE, FD-LTE, and of course, will be backward compatible with complete session continuity with 3G as well. So let me stop here and once again say that we at Qualcomm are doing all that we can to enable a strong ecosystem for 3G and beyond for India. And it is through our relationships and partnerships with y'all that we believe we can make this happen. Thanks.